Away up high in the Sierry Petes where the yellowjack pines grow tall, old Sandy Bob and Buster Jiggs had a roe deer camp last fall. Well, they'd taken their horses and their running irons and maybe a dog or two, and they swore that they'd brand all of the long-eared calves that come within their view. And any old doggy that flapped long ears and didn't brush up by day, he got his long ears whittled and his old hide scorched in a most artistic way. Well, then one day old Sandy Bob, why, he throws his seago down. He says, I am sick of the smell of this burning hair. I allows I'm going to town. So they saddles up and they hits him a lope, for it weren't no sight of a ride. And well, them was the days when a buckaroo could oil up his old insides. They started off at the Kentucky bar at the head of the Whiskey Row, and they ended up down at the Depot House some 40 drinks below. Then they sets her up, they turns her around, they goes her the other way. And to tell you the God-forsaken truth, them boys got drunk that day. Well, they're back on their ponies headed to camp, packing a pretty good load, when who should they meet but the devil himself a-prancing down the road. Says he, you ornery cowboy skunks, you'd better hunt your holes, 'cause I've come up from the hell's rim rock to gather in your souls. Old Sandy Bob says, devil be damned. We boys is kind of tight, but you ain't gonna get no cowboy souls without one hell of a fight. So Sandy Bob punches a hole in his rope and he swings her straight and true and he laps it on the devil's horns and he taking his dallies too. Now old Buster Jiggs, he's a riata man, got his gut line coiled up neat. He takes her down, he shakes her out and he lasses the devil's hind feet. Then they stretches him out and they tails him down, and while the irons is getting hot, they cropped and they swaller forked both his ears. And then they branded him up. A lot. They trimmed him up with dehorn and shears, tied knots in his tail for a joke, and then they just rode off and they left him there necked to a blackjack oak. So if you're ever up high in the Sierry Petes and you hear one hell of a wail, you know it's just the devil a-bellering about the knots that they tied in his tail. Thank you. That's a classic cowboy poem by Gail Gardner. I just love classic cowboy poetry, and folks, if you do too, why, we could use a little help for the Ellensburg Spirit of the West Cowboy Gathering. We've had to put her off from February to May because of COVID-19, and dang, folks, we could sure use some financial help if you can see your way clear to do it. Anything will help. We've got Dave Stamey and Nebraska cowboy poet and rancher R.P. Smith coming up for the gathering this year, and we could use your help. So if you could kindly get a hold of us at the Spirit of the West Gathering, we could sure tell you how you could help us. Thank you much, and you folks have a wonderful day.